All right. A brief introduction. My name is Ashwani Agarwal. I'm an ex-master mariner and been working ashore in different ranks since last 13 years. And now I am the Director of Operations for OSM Asia, now called OSM Thome, as you can see. The subject that I'm going to speak about today is the use of ENS as a tool for safe navigation in port, specifically. I hope we are all familiar with the term ENS. No? So ENS is this tablet which Chartward has devised and come out in a couple of years ago. And it functions as a standalone ECDIS, but how we can optimize and how we can utilize and bank upon certain advantages of it is what we're going to talk about. Yeah? Quick question. How many of us drove using this fancy technology called Google Maps? Or how many of us do it every day? Everyone, right? Even I, first time in Hamburg, but I could drive fairly easily into Hamburg from the airport to hotel yesterday. And how do our masters navigate? Standing in the far corner of the bridge with basic minimum controls at his disposal. All the electronics, the visualization, everything is along the center line of the ship. Now, if you consider a normal vessel, the master is at least 15 meters away from most of the electronic input. Isn't it? The larger the vessel, farther the distance. And what does he eventually do? Rely on verbal inputs. That is still okay for a normal designed bulk carrier tanker wherein the bridge is located aft and the master has a good visibility of both bow and the stern section. What happens on specialized vessels wherein they're compliant with IMO visibility criteria. But can the master really see what is happening in the forward and the stern? I don't think so. I've myself sailed on these ships, and 9 times out of 10 you end up relying forward. What is the passing distance? And the guy on the forward station is thinking, now you want me to say? How's that for safety in port? 9 out of 10 times these ships, they touch berths or fenders and end up in P&I cases and what have you. I have an ongoing $250,000 claim in one of the ports. And this is applicable, once again, I'll show you in future slides how it applies to even those vessels where the master has a good, clean visibility. So the ENS as a tablet was designed as a bring me home device. A standalone tablet which can be used, a standard, what is it, Kim? It's a Microsoft Pro, Surface Pro. It's a Surface Pro tab designed as emergency navigation system. When all ECDISs on board crash, that's the time you could use it. But that was repurposed into, or that is how we did it. What we wanted was the master to have a view of how the ship is progressing along a channel or navigating close to a berth. Eventually, all ships, they will have to do at least a 180-degree maneuver around the berth. How's that going? And that is where we selected the ENS as a tool to do this. That's how the tab looks like. The AIS plug on board is provided with a splitter cable. There is a Wi-Fi or a Bluetooth mouse, and then of course in the later stages we came out with a Wi-Fi mouse which could directly be connected to any GPS on board, which will transmit the position, the tab will receive the position, and you have a portable ECDIS in your hand.
It is interactive here, yeah, so I may ask questions.
Please, 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 of course, yes.
It's not an ECDIS. This is a problem.
It's not an ECDIS, yes, but it runs on the same charts. It runs on the same software. It gets the position from the same GPS, and that is why we called it a tool. Not really a replacement of ECDIS, not a IMO certified hardware, yes, but at the same time, it is actually giving you some visualization to the master of what is happening around him.
I completely see the benefits, and I fully agree with that. A simple example, yesterday I was dealing with the NAVTEX. Yeah? NAVTEX is very important for voyage appraisal and so on, but not actual for the navigation. Yeah? It is in the planning stage. It is important to keep an eye on, but you don't need it at the steering wheel. Yeah?
No.
But as per time approval, it's required to be at the steering wheel. So it is data overflow, which is a problem. Yeah? Transferring this idea into the ENS system, it lacks type approval. It's not part of the design navigation bridge.
True, true.
It's tricky.
It is, but then tell me, I mean, the devices that we use in our pockets and use Google Maps and Drive and see all those things, is it certified by the Department of Transportation in every country, sorry. It doesn't have to be. The verbal communication which master was doing with the forward and aft mooring station and saying, are we 10 meters away from the berth or 5 meters? Is that more safer, or using a tool, anything for that matter, which gives at least some sort of visualization and tells the master that if you don't do something now, in the next 6 minutes, you are going to have a contact. So yes, it's a trade-off. I fully understand that it may not be type approved, it may not be IMO approved hardware, yes. But practically, in all practical sense, it's running the same software, it's using the same charts, using the same GPS data.
Fully agree, but I would be interested how P&I lawyers would say, see this in a real...
Even if you have an incident based on ECDIS, will the P&I favor you? We do have, I mean, I'm sure all of us in the room have experienced some accidents, incidents, and where the ship has utilized all equipments available to their disposal, or the ship staff has utilized. But did the P&I let you go scot-free? So yeah, there are those implications, yes. I don't know how soon our friends can get it type approved. But the idea was to provide some sort of a visualization to the master, who not only has to rely on verbal inputs and, you know. Please, yes, you had a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that you were comparing the scenario of using Google Maps to drive, let's say, to this hotel, for example, with such a scenario. But isn't this a totally different scenario? I mean, it would be more like I use Google Maps to park my car in the parking slot, which I obviously do not do, but I look out of the window, I use the parking assistance system or the 360-degree view of my camera and stuff like that, but I don't use GPS and Google Maps for this.
True. No, I just use that as an analogy to invoke a little bit of interest, first thing. And second is, of course, digitalization. Right? There may be people, I still meet, my parents are still using an old Nokia device as a hand phone. And there are people who are technologically challenged or who don't want to move to something new. But in this business, and we've heard it from the speakers earlier in the morning, we have to get into digitalization. We have to advance ourselves. We simply cannot keep navigating the way 20, 30 years ago when I was cadet and the other masters were doing it.
That is I think now we have a little bit of problem. We are using also NES on our vessel, but if I'm looking 20, 30 years back, I'm using Narcos bridges with conning stations, bridge wing, and so on. So we might have the problem that ship owner, due to whatever reason, I think that is not our topic, do not invest in proper equipment. This is something, yeah, the main topic is to overcome total loss of actors. I fully agree. We use it also as additional tool, as a conning station for the master, and so on. But in fact, since 20, 30 years, there are ways. So when I started in the 90s, there was the first IT, we had computer everywhere, we could start the auxiliary engine from the bridge, and so on. So this was on the main vessel is not existing anymore. Just simple standalone equipment and so on.
No, yes, I fully agree. And of course, the design is more up to the ship owner to invest into. There are ferries and passenger ships who have beautiful systems in the bridge wing. Beautiful. You don't need this. How about the not so fancy ships built for 10, 12 year, 15 year use? And that volume is way, way bigger than the ships which actually have a bridge which can function. Sometimes when you pass by these passenger ships, just look at how many bow thrusters they have. And stern. Beautiful. They can perpetually turn on their own axis. But can a normal merchant vessel do that? No. Just not designed for it.
But you mentioned you're calling it a tool, but how you implement it in your procedures and how you're training your crew using the NES?
The ENS, like I said, the software is the same as Chartward eGlobe, so there is no special training required. For how we have of course adopted it in our arrival departure checklists. That is how we do it, and of course for most of the tablets now, and of course depends on the bridge layout and the console and all that, but most of the masters have managed to make a fixed platform for it, and it remains there. It is not something that they take to their cabins and see how the ship is navigating while they're sleeping. Please.
But how it is implemented in your bridge team management system?
Bridge team management system, do you have a separate manual for it?
Yes, normally you have in your bridge team resource management, you have interactivation between helmsman, officer of the watch and the master to give some information. And you told before that the master get all information from this one instead. No. It is a supplement. The master is still talking to his people. I guess it will replace something on the bridge.
No. The bridge composition, the watch composition, the equipments, the recording, everything remains the same. It does not replace anything. It is simply giving
interaction of the, let me say, the officer of the watch or the helmsman or the watchman astern or on a boat. As you told before, they cannot give the real distance to the berth. On our vessels, they use tools. They can give a better distance than this tool because it is a distance measurement, and you get it in a centimeter.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
And then you can report it to the bridge, and the master knows exactly. But if you use this tool instead of this reporting, I guess something is missing in the communication between.
This is simply a supplement to that information. Is the distance really 40 meter or 400 meter? It can only remove those anomalies. It cannot replace the human being. It cannot replace if you have devices like Leica has a very nice distance sensor. But again, on the car carriers, the challenge was you are just too high above water. And even if you point it at the berth, what you're getting is not the straight distance. You're actually getting it at a hypotenuse.
We are also using the ECDIS as an emergency navigation solution. First of all, as a backup for the technical charts, but also recently we are using, after the software upgrade, some of the vessels, the captains are using the tablets for the, in maneuvers, especially Mississippi River. And here, as you can see here, is actually a great example. You see on the front of the vessel this distance 40.3. This is actual distance to the berth, and it's very accurate. We measure it because all the vectors here all around the vessel. The accuracy of the distance measurement is excellent. It's up to few centimeters. We check it and we confirm already on several vessels. So this is a great supporting tool for the master, which is on the bridge unit. It has nothing to do with the communication between the bridge members. The communication, everything is exactly the same. But the most important thing, the captain now is not shouting to the chief mate, or talking to the radio, because he can see everything. And actually, if you see this tablet, the most of the pilots, they're using Orca software, right? Which is pretty much the same.
Absolutely the same, even worst.
Exactly. So this is just extra, very useful tool from our perspective.
No, very nicely said, sir. Thank you very much for that. And please, let's all also take a moment to introspect. Like you mentioned, 30 years ago, there were automation and computers and auxiliary engines which you could start at the click of a button. Yes, but has that replaced the requirement to not man the engine room? The engine room is still being manned during maneuvers and traffic areas and what have you, right? Nothing has replaced. Until we really go into autonomous ships and start building ships which cost twice or thrice the actual building cost today. So the technology is there. Technology is there to supplement the human thought process and a decision making in real time. That's all it has done. Engine rooms compared to 30 years ago to today are like spaceship, actually. The sheer number of sensors and alarms and monitors is tremendous. You need computer engineers now, not maritime or marine engineers anymore. But still, the complement remains the same. Please.
I think, and I know what you're doing is you're providing a supporting system, but I think it's essential that especially the crew, the bridge team is instructed about the fact that it is a support system. It needs training. It needs, you need to advise about the deficiencies, about the shortcomings of such a system. How good are sensors integrated? How exact is my position? You should never 100% rely on such a system. That needs to be made clear in education of
absolutely,
crews.
Absolutely.
And so also has to be implemented in the procedures.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Every equipment has limitations. Every.
Exactly as the colleague said.
And of course, nothing can replace looking outside the window.
It depends on the charted object and quality of chart. Yeah. Another car carrier you will not identify on this.
Oh, I can give you an example of a small little tiny stone in Haiti called St. Mark, where I ran a fixed service from US to this port for 3 years on a car carrier, and just on the basis of a bathymetric chart. Sometimes we do things, sometimes we do take calculated risks, yes, but of course nothing can replace looking outside the window and having the touch and feel yourself. I went to St. Mark the first time before the first call and standing on that stone and thinking, how the hell am I going to bring the ship here? You were saying something?
Yeah, because this comes in my mind. Does Sharp work as in the onboard communication software, or in this training, is it all really implemented?
Yeah. It's online and everything.
So that means the handling of the tablet is implemented in the, I call it type-specific training.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the same software.
Yeah, but it's the same software, but the tool itself, the limitation of the tablet or the bound, whatever.
It's the same.
Only the size.
The size?
Of this
Only the size and the keyboard is gone.
To my actors, I have permanent power supply.
Yeah, okay.
And I need to charge it.
This will, you will plug into the same socket, you will have the same.
So that's how it is fixed.
So you mentioned you're using also the RES splitter.
Yes.
So using it, which allows the pilot to use the RES plug and to connect this.
Because you can't interfere with that requirement to have one socket free for the pilot. So hence we had to get into a splitter business. But of course now it is being replaced with the GPS mouse.
You already the splitter by yourself?
I think we bought some ourselves. We bought some from you. And then we bought some ourselves as well. Yeah, because there's always a quality issue and one is not working and the other is not working, so we had to send 2-3 of them, but they're not very expensive. I think less than a couple of $100. Yeah.
Pilots are offering them as well.
Sorry?
So attending pilots are offering them as well.
The splitters?
So if the pilot plug is occupied, they are selling it to the
Oh,
masters.
okay. That's a good business model.
Extra business, extra income.
So yeah, some of the advantages which you saw in earlier on a smaller screen, now these are the actual screenshots and you know how it looks on the tablet. Please, sir.
Regarding this Panama Canal requirements which is approaching.
Oh, this is nowhere even close to that. Sure.
Different discussion.
I see the competition can be going onwards if you produce your own hardware similar to non-piloting, non-portable piloting units. That sort of approach do you think as for development?
I don't know, and of course I don't work for Chartward. I can't say for them what kind of hardware development they have in the store, but Panama Canal and their approval is a completely different story.
There are only 2 companies.
And the second one, by the way, came only last month.
Yes.
Since last year, there was only one. And that system sold at $30,000 plus once upon a time.
Which you get tighter group.
Exactly. So yeah, that is, and that is typically based on positioning system and the challenge that they want to address is positioning, not the charts or their representation or the final outcome of it. So I don't know how they're going to gain from it. I have not done any Neo Panamax transit myself.
It is complete another system.
Maybe the pilots will.
Yes, it is based on UHF communication between some stations.
Shore stations and the ship. Yeah, yeah.
It is only required for 109 feet and
Above. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I had a question regarding type approval. As equipment being installed on a bridge, it needs to comply to IEC 6945 requirements. How do you do that with tablets?
It's the same for the coffee machine.
Yeah.
It's the same for the coffee machine on the bridge, honestly.
Coffee machine, cameras.
We had the same question. We as Anschutz, we also do docking functionality, which is similar to that and based also on the ECDIS, which then is incorporated into our conning system and can be installed on the bridge wing. And as the question of type approval for that came up, we said, okay, we use our standard type approved equipment, which we have for the central bridge as well, which makes it, of course, a little bit more expensive, but gives you the certainty that you can really use it on the bridge. But I, again, want to stress the fact that even though it's connected to the integrated bridge and has a full-speed internet or LAN connection to the bridge network, there's a latency and a delay in the signals, and also a predictor which can be incorporated in that. can also give you a rough estimation. And coming back to the point that it can only be an advisory tool, and we should
Absolutely.
stress the fact that crew, as you said, should always use their eyes. And
No, absolutely, absolutely. Nothing can replace the human senses.
yes.
That's for sure. But it's just a way of telling the master what can possibly happen next. And of course, once we start with this, we will get into something better.
Yeah.
I'm sure the guys at the chartboard must be working on something better. Please.
One question regarding the movement prediction. What is that based on?
That is basically forecasted on the basis of what the ship is doing at that moment. So it will keep following.
Calculate it from?
Sorry?
Which parameters do you calculate it from? Is it just rate of turn and speed, or is it
Rate of
just
turn,
weather
speed,
data?
heading. No, there is no weather data sensor into it. And weather data takes us into a whole different dimension, and especially when we talk about high freeboard ships like car carriers or LNG or large container vessels. So, please, yes.
Interesting point on eyes on the water. What's the future of augmented reality, like headsets where you can keep your eyes on the water and receive this data at the same time?
There is a lot of work being done there, not just augmented, but also AI. I had a demo of a model 2 weeks ago, and it's fantastic. I say any change is fantastic because it will take us somewhere. So yes, if we keep on working, we will find something which will work, or which will do something better for us and the ships. Please.
I know from my time long ago on board of a ship that the biggest challenge even is, I mean, this is a great tool to get this information in hand, but the biggest challenge is the planning of the maneuver with wind and those and the hydrodynamic parameters of the ship. Do you have any plans to add this to this tool, some kind of hydrodynamic maneuver planning? I know that the university where I'm also a long time ago come from, they're making researches in that for many, many years, and they make big improvements in that.
No, they have, and there is a working concept. Of course, our wish list from this system is way too long, but there is a working concept, and all those who have been managing large bulk carriers out of Port Hedland probably may heard of this term called DUC, D-U-K-C, Dynamic UKC. So that is a nice concept. I've seen it at work. I've attended their conferences and seminars as well. And of course, it'll be nice to have those things. A lot of times we don't see that covered when we analyze any accident incident post occurrence. You will see that somewhere down the line the master pilot exchange was not really what we wanted. Of course, hindsight is 20/20, but you know, we can definitely improve and improvise on that front.
Excuse my ignorance, but I have never written that, never read somewhere that the ECDIS shall be used in navigation for berthing. But this is physically what we are doing, because you copy the ECDIS and you have it on your ENS, so you have the functionality of the ECDIS and you are using it as a berthing tool. I think for Master Mariners, this has to be integrated in the bridge team management. And it is for berthing, it gives you an indication, yes, but it's the wrong tool for berthing.
There is a lot to be done. There is no doubt about that. And today, the idea of presentation is just a proof of concept. Right? We started, if you see my previous slide, you will see the difference. We started with a 180-degree foldable laptop because it was cheaper than a Surface Pro. And the AIS pilot plug splitter because that was cheaper than a GPS mouse. And then we moved on to Surface Pros and GPS mouse and so. Sorry?
These things serve different purposes.
Not just different purposes, but different hardware and evolution.
This docking mode was always there in the ECDIS.
It is there, and there is nothing, actually there is nothing in the regulation which says you cannot use. We were using paper charts even during docking. We were required to plot positions and bearings and everything on paper charts during port maneuvers. We were still doing that. And the crew is still doing that on the ECDIS. They are still required to do that. A bit of feedback from a few of our masters. It's fairly well liked, I must say. And that's about it. Any more questions, please?
Do you said before you presented as a bursing tool or bursing assistance tool that you needed to replace a coming home set, say paper chart set which you have to use in a total field of actors. And do you have experience with some vetting inspectors, especially for oil majors, regarding OCAMP requirements? Also, is it a real replacement of a coming home set, or is it a tool for replacement? Is it accepted by auditors?
Yes, as an ENS, it is accepted by auditors.
Additionally, it depends also on your emergency plans. Yeah? If you write in your emergency plans, of course, that you can use it for unlimited purposes, then it would for sure pay it. But if you have a good emergency plan for use it, it's acceptable. Not only this product, actually.
Of course, the take me home charts is a bit of a vague concept, I must say. In this, we have the global licenses and everything. It's much better in practical sense.
Yes, and it is more in detail because we in form time use some charts in small scale to have not all charts, and then you have the same work as before. If you have to make the chart correction for the present voyage, and then it makes no sense to have it.
That takes us into a whole different discussion about continuity of paper charts and availability of notices and corrections and what have you. Thankfully, UKHO is now extending it. But yeah, they would very soon go somewhere.
I just wonder, to what extent do you have the ENS incorporated in your policies, like going through piracy-prone areas, escaping into citadel, abandoning ship scenarios, things like that?
Nothing. Abandoned ship, of course, you are not supposed to sail out, as in leave the ship and sail hundreds and hundreds of miles. You still have to stay in the area. So I don't see the reason, to be honest, as a seafarer, to carry paper charts or anything. It just takes too much of time and effort. Instead of focusing on what is really important and urgent at that time, which is collecting all your crew and leaving the ship.
Right, what I meant to say was, for instance, in the good old paper chart days, the second officer had to craft some paper charts going to the lifeboat, right, in order to escape from the ship. Now it should be something like picking up, grabbing the ENS, right?
No, I don't believe in that. And quite honestly, I am in the process of kind of having a relook at these emergency response procedures, because I see there is a lot of processes or actions required which take a lot of crew's time. And instead of focusing on their own safety and departing from the ship or doing something meaningful, they are being tasked to do some things which are simply of no value. Collecting paper charts or ENS for that matter, that is where I see it. I had that discussion with Stefan as well. He wanted to highlight that, but no.
You need anyhow to put a sextant as well then.
Yes.
Okay, you can take the ENS, but then how do you know your position? Then you take the sextant. Then then you might as well consider that second mate is never making to the survival craft.
And then you're lost anyway.
You lost him, so.
Just grab their smartphone.
Just run as hard and as fast as you can, and that will be enough.
No, I think it's really a plus on safety of navigation. The problem is, and what is always stopping or slowing down innovations and developments is are the rules and regulations. Yeah, type of orbits, etc. As I heard, this standard which needs to be followed for the coffee machine and so on. It is unbelievable how many standards we need to follow in shipping, and of course for a reason. Yeah, this is no doubt. This is all important, but we need to find a way how we are able to quicker develop innovation.
Exactly, exactly. And that is only possible once we start working from somewhere. Today we have this as an ENS. We are trying to use it as navigation in port. Yes, managed to prevent a lot of incidents and contacts and what have you, but 100% no.
This is a good example is position taking. How long it takes to get rid of that. Now they are talking about position verification, sensor reliability. We are back to the story. Yeah?
The requirement to plot visual positions, as in by bearings and distances, is still there. It's still part of the STCW code. Even though we have advanced from LORAN DECA to GPS and DGPS, and from paper charts to electronic charts and what have you. So one guy is simply doing nothing but running to the bridge wing, taking bearings, coming back, plotting it on the ECDIS, and by the time the ship is fairly past that point, the value addition, I don't know, but if you don't do it, you will definitely receive a deficiency in the next PSC or the SIRE. 100% sure.
100.
So there are these things which we have to, and of course it will come only when we have the next best solution. Anything else? No? Then thank you very much. Really, like the discussion here, the discussion about taking the ENS in Lifeport came up.
I just came, I don't know. That's great. Leave that.
So yeah.
But one thing, I don't know if you have considered this one, I think it's also psychological issue. Having even sitting in the Citadel, having the tablet, gives maybe a little bit, it's not worse to have it, but if you sit in a boring lifeboat, you have it, you can play a little bit. So it's like the fishing tool in a few years ago. So just, I think it's not worse to have it. So.
But it works for 10 hours, and then the battery's out. So what is the battery?
Power
You can put 10 power banks, and then of course you are safe for 3 days. But still, there's no rescue in the middle of the ocean. So
after 10 hours, hopefully you are rescued already.
That's true. That's true.
No, and I hope and I pray that none of our ships get into that situation. But quite honestly, if you talk to people who have been in those situations, they have a much larger fish on their plate than having to kill time. They always do. Stefan, anything from your side?
No, don't know what that.
Okay, then thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Change my glasses.
better ones. Yes. I don't know, or maybe slow computer. I think I took the wrong one. Yeah. Hey, very good morning, everyone. Great audience. My name is Piotr Rusinek. I am from Intership Navigation from Cyprus. This is my third board deck this day, and this year I had the pleasure to present something to you. Also asked by Chartword to talk about the way how we are using the NaviCloud service from Chartword, and generally how we started with our ECDIS journey, which was quite interested, and I hopefully you will find my presentation also interested. So, a short presentation of the company. Sorry. So we are the member of the Hartmann Group, German ship owner from Leer, and our group is the first one, Technical Ship Management, which we are divided into two departments, Donnelly Tanker Management and Intership Navigation. Our colleagues from Donnelly, they are doing wet fleet, and we are in charge of the dry fleet. We do also commercial management, the training, and the crewing. So all is in-house, large company. But I will be talking about procedures and the implementation of the ECDIS journey in Intership Navigation from Cyprus. So what we do, we are ship owner and the ship manager, as I said already, based in Cyprus. Today, from the technical and commercial management, we are operating 40 vessels, mostly handy-sized barkers, cement carriers, multi-purpose vessels. We have one car carrier, almost 40 vessels, and the crew management. Colleagues from Donnelly, similar numbers, less. As you know, in the management field, the numbers changing almost on a daily basis. The vessels going in and out. So today, I'm not sure if the numbers are correct. To be honest with you, especially on the wet side. Probably we are taking over now today some 2 or 3 vessels in our management. We will see. But this is the, let's say, situation today. So how we started our ECDIS journey. We had very big fleet expansion from, okay, I mentioned here 2009, but actually it started before when we built in China, I don't know how many vessels. I think Captain Adami knows better, but let's more or less 100, not only for us, but also for the third-party owners. So the ECDIS journey, actually, we started from 2016, when our committee decided on the installation plan and the selection of the equipment. All the vessels delivered from China were already equipped with the ECDIS. Not type approved yet, all right? But slowly, due to the change of the regulations, of course. So we started with the training centers, et cetera, et cetera. In 2017, we have implemented our navigation procedures, which are part of the safety management system, bridge manual, a Bible for the navigators, internal navigation audits, ECDIS training for the fleet marine superintendents. And then we started. In 2017, we had 25 new ECDIS installations, 14 system retrofits, means the existing systems were not compatible with the new requirements. In 2018, we had serious ECDIS-related accident, or others say ECDIS assisted grounding. Oh, very good word. Yes, exactly. So since then, again, our philosophy changed based on the accident, which details I will share with you. And since 2018, we have implemented navigational audits on board, master navigational audits. All our fleet superintendents are also marine superintendents are trained by the DV. And also because we are 3 of us in the group, we are also ECDIS instructors, and we are in possession of ECDIS training for all equipment we have on board. So I have, if I am not mistaken, 6 or 7 certificates, including master instructor certificate, and also I spent a couple of days in DNV Academy in Greece for specialized training for the marine superintendents and nautical auditors. Then we started with the NAV. And since then we have, during last 3 years, we successfully completed 18 installations. Today we have 19 vessels equipped with the eGlobe G-Connect service. Few will be, let's say, implemented in next couple of months. Everything depends on the communication system installed, because the system requires at least VSAT minimum. FBB unfortunately doesn't work well with the system. So the implementation plan was based actually on the existing equipment installed on board, and since also we decided to replace older ECDISes more than 5 years with the new ones. So every new installation, if we have approval from the management or from third-party owner to install eGlobe ECDIS, we are also installing we are connecting ECDIS to the network, basically. So the navigational audits, very important part of our job. And I have to admit that we were quite skeptical at the beginning. But after more or less 70 few completed audits, we are talking about the sailing audits, so dynamic part. So we are visiting vessels for during short voyage, couple of days on board, static part in the port, dynamic at the sea. When we are observing the silent observers, bridge team management. Later on, we are talking with the officers. Of course, we are checking all the things based on the OCIF requirements. Basically, we have implemented OCIF and the DNV requirements regarding navigational audits on the dry fleet. So the wet fleet, they had it already in the past. Since a couple of years, we have everything on the dry fleet. The procedures are almost equal on the both type of the vessels. And also all masters, they are obliged to carry out master navigational audit together with the master review and send to us once per day contract. During the audits, of course, we found many gaps, not many, but several gaps in our system. So this is a live system. So based on the findings, based on non-conformities, deficiencies, we are trying, to always analyze the reasons, not to blame the people, but to find the problems on our side. That's why we have amended several procedures based on the findings of the navigational audits. And also audits, the results are analyzed during the officer seminars, which we have always 2 times per year. One is in Poland, the second one is in Manila. When there's one day, actually, we're talking about the safety of the navigation. Everything to improve the safety culture, to improve the awareness, and also to improve the safety of the navigation, based on our, unfortunately, bad experience. As I mentioned already, we had a serious accident related to ECDIS. You can see here on the first, on the right side and on the left side. You see the vessel was actually sailing without proper ENC. How it's happened? The second officer was aware that something is wrong, but unfortunately he was scared to tell the master straightforward that, Captain, something is wrong with our ECDIS. All right? He was aware that something is wrong because actually, by mistake, during the ordering the cells, somebody make the mark and tick the one cell as existing in the inventory. So the chart actually was never ordered and never uploaded to ECDIS. We found out this later on, together with the chartward, because at that time they were a service provider on this particular vessel. And you can see on this screen the difference between the cells. This is exactly the same position. So as you can see, the vessel route was also unsafe, but you see the vessel track. It was during the chief mate watch. He was keeping the very right side of the ECDIS channel. The reason was that the second officer, he told him, mate, something is wrong, so keep the right side. In order to avoid too many alarms, ECDIS alarms, that's why the vessel was always in between the lines, okay? And altogether, actually led us to serious accident, but the lack of chart was only one reason. The second one I will share with you as well. This is the quick reply mode. So here you can see how the vessel was actually navigating. And the first at all, there's lack of ENC. The one chart is missing. That's why there's not too many alarms. The only alarms they had was XTD. They never had, the shallow water or potential grounding alarms. Yes?
I have a question. How they can pass, the route check without the ENC?
It was possible. Of course, the route check is only checking the quality of the route, not counting the numbers of the cells.
Yes, but if you have a planned route without a chart?
Nothing was no an error.
No error?
No.
Because no chart is there.
Because the chart was there, but because of the differences in the scale,
Yes, it was another scale.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, here you can see that the vessel suddenly altered course to port side. The reason I will tell you later on, after a short movie. This is about 3 minutes to go. So as you can see, this is the replay mode. There's still no any alerts, all right? The alerts here are only due to the XTD, yeah? But there's no any indication of grounding. So alarm was confirmed. You can see here the vessel is still running full ahead, 11 knots, but now something is happening, all right? The speed is going down, and also the depth from now the echo sonder is damaged already, and the vessel ended up with this. Sorry about the quality, but it was the movie from the divers. Handysize barker full ahead on the reef. Thanks God was no any pollution, no any damage to the hull. Nobody injured. It was actually a soft gravel reef, thanks God, not the solid rock. In case of solid rock, she will stay there forever. Yeah. So the salvage operation, transshipment, all together, dry dock, all together was more or less 2 months. And we started the investigation, and the reason of the grounding were actually few factors. The most important one was, of course, the lack of proper training and the lack of proper chart, but it was one more important factor. This is just, everybody knows, nice aquariums, coral reef, so let me skip this, okay? When we started our investigation, we found out that these are the screenshots from the previous voyages. As you can see, the courses and the vessel track quite worried, right? What was the reason? What do you think? Yes, you know. Also, Captain Adami knows. The captain had a hobby. His hobby was actually the photography of the lighthouses. And actually, the captain is the author of 50% of the photos of the lighthouses, which you can see in the sailing directions. So the reason of the course alternation was actually L.S. Piroga's lighthouse. He wanted to take the photo of this lighthouse during the sunset. That's why he altered course to port side. The chief mate at the time was together with the bosun talking on the bridge wing, you know, because it was 7:20 in the morning. And the captain came on the bridge and he put the rudder hard to port side, and 5 minutes later he went aground. So it was one of, I think, most expensive photography in the history. If I could remember the numbers, $3.5 million altogether. Yes, sir.
But without this course alteration on the planned route?
Yes. Probably they will manage to escape the grounding, because if you see, if the chief mate will continue keeping the very right side of the XTD, they will pass safely, yes. You know, the XTD channel was 300 meters, both sides altogether was 600 meters, yeah, maybe there will be, but anyway, this is the history of the previous tracks. As you can see here, you know, even they managed to put the fixed positions, right? So they were very good. But unfortunately, as you can see here, because the lighthouse was here, another lighthouse was here, another lighthouse was here, here was another lighthouse, here was another lighthouse over there. The worst thing, most experienced and decorated captain in the history of the company. Unbelievable, right? But, you know, this is something about the trust. And the reason that we have, after that, implemented the Navi Cloud is not to control the people. No, just to approach with a limited trust, I would say. So, yeah.
There are several examples of such ground.
Look, we are not ashamed to share with you, you know, because I know that there's many of the accidents and they were never published because it's not a popular thing, right?
No, this is a realistic scenario.
Yes.
We have masters which are making a competition how close you are able to pass a Zorg. You
okay.
have mobile phone connectivity.
If you have mentioned about the competition, on this particular vessel, yes, was also competition between two captains, because actually we find out that we have two guys with such hobby. And the competition between them was who has the bigger and the longer lens. This is true, sorry to say, but really. Because, you know, we checked also the correspondence, and was several emails exchanges between the captains. They were talking about the kind of the equipment they are using for the photographs. And everything was about the size of the lens, really.
Size matters.
Size matters.
Bravo. Yes. So.
The fact was here that there was sufficient water in the chart.
Yeah, it was 1,000 meters.
So from the chart, there was no issue.
Yeah. Yes, but.
So he had a hobby. He followed his hobby. He used the tools on board. He didn't have the correct ENC. He would have.
Yes.
So I think that we blame the hobby now here. I think that's wrong.
I mean, you know, here the problem was also with the system. You know, the well-known issue with the scamming, you know, and the lack of information on the cells of the different scale. This is the biggest problem, you know, on the ENC. Yes.
I would say something like this, because we took some risk control measures afterwards. What you said is correct, yeah? So the ACDIS did not give an alarm because the chart was there. Yeah, and the ACDIS was programmed according to the ACDIS standards. Yeah, the ACDIS standard is not saying please inform the crew that there is potential charts missing. Exactly this functionality we've implemented later on. So every time now someone is planning over there and only have the overview chart there, will say during the ACDIS check, hey, please
please have another. We will not install it, but we will highlight, another look, you forgot something. Yeah, and that is, this could all happen, yeah, but they take, the internship took actions, we took actions, everyone learned out of it and tried to.
Is this an ECDIS standard nowadays, or is
No.
this only a chartable add-on?
No, this is an add-on.
It's not the standard yet.
Which chart was missing? The larger scale chart was missing.
Yes.
You had an overview chart.
Yes.
But the
background
was,
chart, some chart was there, yeah, but it was not detailed enough.
It was not detailed enough. The data of this region.
Yes.
The depths
Yeah.
were missing.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
You said before the officer was aware, he mentioned that something was not
Yes.
okay. But why the heck he did not inform the captain about it? Was there some not good relationship?
Well, no, they were good relation, but you know, you actually touched a very good topic, and thanks for it. You know, we all of us here probably you remember the old good days. To be honest with you, the quality of the officers was much better in my eyes. I spent half of my life at sea, last 7 years, you know, sitting on the other side of the table. Now I can see the things from the both perspective. And before we had people with passion, you know, well educated and clever. Today, you know, most of the training centers, they are just producing officers. It's not the same quality. And you know, this barrier between, let's say, 60 few or 60 plus captain from Europe and the young third officer from Far East, and this is his first contract probably. He completed some 4 months training in training center. This gap is huge, you know. Of course, this is the job for the captain, you know, to fill this gap. Yes, I fully agree. But, you know, sometimes there are so many barriers, so big barriers, they just simply cannot cross, you know.
But this was not the point of the question. The question is, even if the, I think
this is the reason. This is the reason of the communication. You know, the young officer can hesitate. You know, and he can be afraid because maybe the master will blame him. You know, because the master was not fully aware about the capabilities and the limitations of the equipment. He was not well familiar with the ECDIS actually, so the officer was afraid. You know, to point him out that something is wrong with the ECDIS. Because the captain, he shifted full responsibility for the handling of the ECDIS to the shoulder of the young officers.
Then we are turning back to bridge team management and
Yeah.
up really, even not only the officer, even the helmsman, doesn't matter.
Yes,
Everybody.
yes. You had a question.
Yeah, I can understand, or I also see the point that it appears to be strange to say that this hobby was the fault of the accident in some ways, but still,
Not all.
You absolutely can do this because if you see the voyage planning, there is obviously 10 to 15 safer routes to choose, and he didn't choose them. So still, the hobby is what.
It was one of the factors, you know.
But only saying that
the route was chosen not because of taking the fog. The route was chosen to ride ahead of the competing vessel
Yeah.
for the berth.
Captain altered the route, altered course from the route. It was not, it wasn't planned route, yeah, so close to the lighthouse.
But even then, yeah, if you alter the route and going out of the cross track, you should plan a new route.
Yes, of course, but you know, sometimes they are exceeding. You know, they are escaping from the route because of the traffic, because of the many circumstances. You know, this was the purely the cause of the accident. Anyway.
What type of cutoff was it in this area?
I think it was C or D. A very poor quality of the because this is Haiti, so it's a poor quality of the chart. So the concept of the NaviCloud, what for us was the key factor that we considered this service. First of all, compatibility with the ECDIS equipment. You know, easy training because the ECDIS software is actually from the same service provider. We were trained for this as a office personnel, so it was easy for us to implement it and to introduce. And what is important, each installation was supported also by me or by our colleagues. So we sent on board the technician who was in charge of the installation technical part. And on the next day, after installation, was practical training for Myra and the NaviCloud. And during the officers' also seminars, there's a live presentation of the system done by me or by my colleagues. So we are using this system for trainings, of course, to also improve the quality of the navigation on board and the safety of the navigation, and to reduce the workload for the officers and for the captain. Remote assessment and the route monitoring, we are doing this on practically on daily basis. It's very, very useful tool, I have to admit. Regulatory compliance, yes, we can check remotely if all the charts or publications, everything is up to date. It helps us during the preparation for the external inspections, policy control or right ship or any of external inspections. So alerts and notification management, I'll show you later on practical. We have set up the alerts and the notification that in such a way that we are receiving in the office certain alerts and notifications, but also the captain. So the alerts are set up in both ways. So they are also receiving the same alerts as we do. And since we implemented the alerts to be sent on board, immediately on the next day, 40% of the alerts we had in the office less. So we are also always trying to explain how the system is working to the masters during the briefings in the office. Before joining the vessel, the captains are visiting our office. As well, officer seminars, I have mentioned already, in Manila and Poland twice per year. One day is about the safety of the navigation, including the services. So NaviCloud, Myra, One Ocean, DTM, SPOS, all we have. The next one, I mean, okay, it's also a very nice tool for the amendment and improvement of the navigational procedures, our bridge procedures, and also the checklists, which are, if you will compare our navigational checklist from 2016 and 2023, they are 60% lighter and more complex and better. So the key to success is also close cooperation with the chartward. I mean, this is from my perspective. I am not sure their perspective, because I'm quite active, and some of people from chartward, they see emails from me practically on daily basis, even few emails. So this is something which you have to, I mean, we must remember that this is the one body. We cannot just buy the service and use it, no. They must understand our needs. We must understand how the system was built. Otherwise, it will never work. So we found a lot of, not a lot, but several gaps in the system which they corrected. So, yeah. Okay, this is the screenshot. Okay, the color is not something. Yeah. Anyway, this is the way how we set up the alerts. This is the group email address. Or fleet and marina superintendents are receiving the same notifications from the vessels. And the captain, in our procedures, the captain has the obligation, if, for example, the vessel is outside the planned route for a certain period of time, more than 2.5 miles, the captain should send us explanation why he's outside the route, due to the traffic or situation, whatever. Because they must be aware that we are not the big brother. Don't get me wrong, all right? So that's why we are showing to the captains and to the officers full transparency. We are saying, guys, we are not going to watch you back. No. But we must control the safety of the navigation because this is our duty. So, and also from our side, we must help you because we are providing you a tool, you know, to improve your job. But this tool has to be controlled by us. Yes, sir.
2.5 miles, of course, then only you're getting an alert.
You can set up as you wish.
Yeah, but
2.5 is from the coast, but you know the ECDIS is much wider, all right? So if the vessel is, you know, the ocean passage, the ECDIS is 100 meters both sides, it's 2,000 meters. So if the vessel is 2.5 miles from the coastline, yeah, the system is sending alert to us. Of course, it is sending alert to the vessel before, but to us, because, you know, we have vessels trading all around the world. And they are areas with quite, you know, fishing activities, etc., etc. They have to deviate temporarily from the route. There's no way. So there's no point to create a new route. Sometimes you have to make deviation even 5 miles. We are not talking about the shortcuts, all right? Because we find that sometimes, you know, they make the shortcuts, not anymore.
Yeah, this cross-track is another interesting, especially for ocean passages.
Yeah.
Normally you can put the cross-track arrows to 5 miles either side.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is possible.
Yes, yes, it is. And actually, you know, we are enforcing captains to make it as wide as possible. Wide, you know, because, you know, the vessel, the route is safe in between the lines.
Big
so.
During vetting inspections.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that it is. You have to set it as much as.
Yes, of course, but you know, we have arguments, you know, also based on our experience. We had the ECDIS breakdowns, not chartport equipment. It was on JRC and the Furuno. And actually, on the vessel equipped with the Furuno, the ECDIS went down in front of my eyes during the navigational audit. Today, the master ECDIS, and tomorrow, the slave ECDIS. Exactly 6 years after the first you know, installation, both down. So what to do? Thanks God we had we had tablet, so we were able to continue the passage. But also in our procedures, you know, the officers are obliged to transfer the safe and checked route from the ECDIS to GPS. In case of breakdown, they can still keep going, right? Because 20 years ago, we had all routes were transferred to GPS, right? With the same value of XTD. So we are doing today exactly the same thing. So the vessel can still keep going, right? And on this particular vessel, the funny thing that we still had few, it was on the Gulf, we had still few paper charts. So I said to the second officer, okay, mate, no problem, just plot the position. And after half hour, he came to me, sir, I have to tell you something. Yes. Could you help me because I see this piece of paper first time in my life. So we have contingency plans, you know, implemented based on our experience. And are quite rich, I would say even. So this is the example of the alert which we are receiving in our office, the same alert receiving the captain. So the active alert is on, and later on, when the vessel is already back on the line, there is another notification that the alert is inactive to alert both sides that the situation is under control. And there's you can choose a certain of the alerts. Yeah, for us, I mean, we are not alerting. I mean, we are not receiving if the vessel is in the, for example, Navarea area or some environment. It's not necessary. It's too much alerts. But this is actually as per your procedures, right?
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
You shared already some information about the size of the fleet and so on.
Yes.
Are you able to share a little bit about your office organization? You have a fleet operations center?
No.
How you manage this?
We don't have.
24/7. Who is in charge to monitor this one?
You know, that's why the masters is receiving the alerts as well during our office nighttime, right? But because there's a few technical, I mean, fleet maintenance superintendents, we are also traveling, and most of the time, some of us is in the different time zone. So he is monitoring the alerts.
Who's monitoring
the fleet superintendents, the marine superintendents, because we are in the different time zones very often. When we are traveling, we are also receiving notification. So everything depends on the location. When all of us are in the office, the masters at night are receiving notifications, always. There is I'm not sure if it's implemented, but the plan was to also get some notification on the mobile phones, right? But I'm not sure if this will be implemented or not.
But that means you assure you're on duty 24/7?
Yes.
Shipping. How?
Shipping. Shipping never sleeps, you know?
I do not agree that... so
I'm joking here.
Okay,
but anyway, question to Chartwood. I'm not sure. Notification on the emails, I mean, on the mobile phones? In the pipeline?
And at the panel discussion, you asked this
Okay.
question again, I will answer.
Fine.
That is interesting, but then it is very easy, you can hand over to DBA.
Yeah, to any. Anyway, you can also get a lot of information from the system. You can download the passage plan, the present passage plan, past passage plans. Yes.
Sorry, but just coming back to the previous discussion of notification, I don't think the intention here is to teach navigation at every error to the master.
No, of course not.
You did this wrong and this
No, of course not, yeah.
I think the intention behind that is to create a sense of
Awareness.
awareness.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
If something is going wrong, then office or the crew or the mailbox, whether somebody is watching it or not.
Yeah.
But at least there is an awareness that yes,
Yeah.
something is going on.
Yeah. We can also control from my computer, I can control the ECDIS safety settings. I can check always the proper setup of the ECDIS before and during the voyage. I can download all the passage plans, the initial, modified, and the actual, the routes, everything in different formats. Yes.
How's the master getting the alarm on board?
Email.
Email?
Yep.
Well, I'm not sitting 24/7 on my email box.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, but you know, the email goes also to the bridge, yeah, because email goes also to the bridge.
Okay.
It's a network setup, so a few recipients, yeah, and it's group recipients, so everybody's getting the alerts. But as I said,
Basically only when this incident happens already, maybe a few hours later.
not really, because there's always somebody on the bridge, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so. But how you can send the alert before the accident? To whom?
No, I mean when the ship is leaving this XTD.
Yes.
For 2.5 miles.
Yes.
At a certain time. Then this alarm is going to the bridge. Actually,
To the captain, to the office, and to us.
It's already.
Yes.
The ECDIS is already alarming.
Yeah.
And the ECDIS is also alarming, so there's a lot of noise on the bridge. Yeah?
So but the master is not getting aware of this. Maybe he's sleeping in his resting room.
He is aware about it because he's receiving the alert. And his officer also receiving the alert. So there's always somebody who is aware that something is wrong, right?
Come to me after this. I put this on the wish list. I will put this on the mobile phone of the master, on the night mode, and then let's see if we can.
Yeah, but how to get mobile phone connection on the ocean?
Oh, with Mr. Starling today? Of course, very easy.
Company provides me mobile phone? Very good.
If not, you can always change the company. sorry to say, but you know. Yes, sir.
I think it depends on how you track vessels in this software thing. Because
You know, you are connected to the ECDIS, so you have live position here.
AIS, you said?
No, it's from the ECDIS. You have ECDIS image in your computer, actually. You are connected to the vessel ECDIS directly.
May I ask one thing?
Yes.
Do you run PACE?
Yes. Yes.
Then you
Always.
eliminate, I think, most
Yes.
of the problems.
We have 18,000 cells installed on each ECDIS.
Nowadays 19 PACE.
Yeah, I said 18, you know, it was during the last installation, which I remember was 18,000, yes.
It's growing.
Yes.
Nearly 20 now.
Yeah. You know, the biggest, I mean, what is very important is the communication, you know. So during the installation of the system, you must make sure that you have very good connection because the initial installation is exchanging a lot of data from the server. So this is the critical point, because later on, all the updates which are doing, which the guys are doing on board is very easy. It's just, click connect to the server once per day. Exchange takes 5-6 minutes maximum. That's all. And if there is any break in the communication, the system will repeat entire process automatically, and you can see it from the office. You can see all the connections and the time and the data which the vessel received. So you are connected to the vessel ECDIS, practically speaking here. Okay. And now I would like to share with you the case study, very recent, Amazon River. How many of you vessels are trading to Amazon River, Santarém port, and et cetera, et cetera? One of the biggest rivers in the world. Recently, many groundings at the estuary of the river, and the issue is with the quality of the charts. The quality of the charts, lack of proper informations, and gap in exchange of the information between the local hydrographic office and the UKHO, which I will prove it to you, unfortunately. Look, this is the standard message which the captain is receiving from the agent. We have different ports, different charterers, different agents. All of them are sending initial messages to the captain. And this is one of the example. It says that important. In order to avoid heavy fines to the vessel master, please note that it's imperative to plot the position in the charts. This will be checked by the harbor master on your arrival at Fazendinha pilot station. And the agent sent the recommended waypoints to the captain. And the vessel went aground 2 times. Question why? So again, we analyzed a lot of data because our vessels are calling frequently to this particular place. And you can see here, this is the route exactly as per recommended information which the captain got from the agent, who opposed to receive it updates from the hydrographic office and the Brazilian Navy. Because as you know, for the safety of the navigation and all the hydrographic data, the body in charge in Brazil is the Brazilian Navy. So always if the Navy is involved in something, we must, ring the bells, yeah? This is actually a route which take the vessel directly to the shallow. And now the captain is receiving message. Captain, if you will not follow this route, you will pay heavy fines, all right? Of course, because this is the route from North Channel to the Fazendinha pilot station. This part, the pilotage, is not compulsory. And it's not even available all the time because
you will not get a pilot.
You will get a pilot. It's $35,000.
Yeah, but even if you accept this one, you will not get a pilot.
Unless you are a tanker, which in case of running aground, you may make a pollution for billions of dollars. Then you will get a pilot. Otherwise, the dry cargo vessel not. Instead, the captain will receive such message. And in 1 month, we had 2 vessels grounded. Okay, it was soft bottom touching.
This is this silting, yeah?
The
problem of riverbed.
Yes, at the estuary. These sandbanks are moving. They are not at the same position all the time. Our vessels, our captain reported to UKHO already 2 years ago that all buoys are missing. Does not exist anymore. But all information from the agents, if you see, always the reference is to these buoys, which does not exist. So we had another agent who sent a message to the captain with the position of virtual buoys. And this is a screenshot of AVS chart. because later I will show you ACS chart to compare the view, the same place. And this is the position of, I don't have a pointer, but this is position of the grounding here. Actually, the vessel went aground 2 times. Maximum draft 11.5, the vessel draft was 11.20. The route and the speed was calculated to be on the beam of this buoy, which is missing, exactly on the high water, as per local regulations. And also to meet the second shallow, which is the Nora bar, at the same, I mean, not the same, but also on the high water without required reducing the speed, okay? So vessel went aground 2 times here. Then we started, of course, again, our investigation. What we found out? Okay, all buoys are missing. The black buoys here, this is the plotted, manually plotted position of the virtual buoys, which the other agents are sending to us, okay? So altogether is a big mess. So what we have done, we sit together with the chartward and we have analyzed 120 AIS trackings from the beginning of the year based on the certain conditions. So we took only the dry cargo vessels, not the tankers, because tankers with the pilot, they're using completely different route. The drafts of the vessels between 10.5, 11.5, because you can define, and also the times of the high water. With the time of the high water is another funny story, because the Admiralty British tide tables are not applicable to this place, because the Brazilians, they have own tape tables, which are quite specific because the reference is exactly to certain points on the channels. And the captain, you know, he must to understand how to find it, because, you know, not all of the captains are speaking Portuguese, because as you can imagine, the local everything is in Portuguese, not in English, right? And the UKHO, the tide tables, are completely not applicable to this place. So you have to use the local, which actually the agents always sending the extract, all right? But you have to find what is the reference point. So this is the route which took the vessel to the shallows, and this is the route which we define as the recommended in our internal procedures. And this route was actually based on historic record of the tracks of the vessels which passed this place from beginning of this year. Also our vessels, because we had also few vessels which also they use this route. And actually this is the track, the white line here. This is the track of one of our vessel which also passed this area. Again, this is, you know, this is our recommendation. The route is up to the master, always. Okay, I don't know if I can change something with the contrast here, but I want to show you here, this is AVC, it was before AVCS, and this is ACS chart from Chartward. And you can see the big difference here. You see here, this is the local navigational warning, which is actually from this position. And this is the biggest difference which we find out between the AVCS charts and the AIO. The AIO layer was empty. On all AVCS charts, there is a one general remark. Please navigate with caution because the position of the sandbanks may differ, that's all. But if you will start digging, and you see here, this is the CIO plus layer, all right, provided by Chartward. Actually, it was on my request a couple of years ago. I demanded from Chartward that they must include in CIO plus the local navigational warnings from Brazil. Otherwise, we will not buy the system. And here, look, change in bathymetry, lowest depth found 6.11 meters, 1/8. And source of the data is 1st of May 2023. Quite accurate. But the captain which went aground had different type of the chart and AIO layer, which was actually empty. And we confirmed with the One Ocean that there is a gap in exchange of the information between the Brazilian Navy and the UKHO. And if you see the Brazilian ENCs, they opposed, they should be corrected for the temporary and preliminary notices. Unfortunately, they were not, because the AIO layer was empty. So here you can see the different.
Is it, sorry.
Yes.
Same as the NTM's papers?
I don't know the papers because we are using all electronic charts. I didn't check the papers, to be honest with you. I don't know. But yes.
So correctly understand that the AIS, the AIO only includes one single sentence message stating sandbanks are moving, blah, 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 or?
Yes.
Or is
No, the AIO is completely empty. There is a...
But is Brazil one of those designated countries from AIO where they
Yes.
we excluded from it?
No. If you see, the producer of all the ENCs is the Brazilian Navy, Brazilian Hydrographic Office. The AIO layer, this is the extra cell which is produced by the UKHO based on provided information from the local hydrographic officers. This is global layer, which in theory should include all temporary and preliminary notices, including navigational warnings.
Yes, but there is an official list from the UKHO stating which countries do not participate in this.
And Brazil is in the list of countries which participate.
Okay, so that's what I...
That's why I said there is a gap in the exchange of the information. And now you can see the biggest difference, So this is from the local source, accurate data, okay? And again, this is the safe route, all right? And this is unsafe route. And on another slide, this is, okay, we extracted some information. Of course, you can see here a market recommended by us to the vessel's no-go areas. And this is the position of the one grounding, and this is the position of the second grounding. All the buoys, of course, virtual positions, all is missing. There's absolutely no any buoys over there. And now, this is the screenshot from the Navi cloud. And you can see now the different. You see here, at the position of the buoys, there is a remark, Navarea warning, and there is a number. And if you will click on it, you will see that it says clearly that the buoy is missing, does not exist. And this is, in my opinion, proper way of displaying temporary and preliminary notices on the ECDIS, on the ENC charts. Otherwise, the officers will not check it properly. Yes, sir.
But if it's not covered by the AIO layer, but usually for the local warnings, we do have nav area and the NAVTEX warning as well.
Yes.
So, and the officers do take that into consideration, the NAVTEX warning, and for such, like for the buoys missing or for the sand moving or something.
On NAVTEX, the first information about the missing buoys were broadcasted on 22nd of May this year. First time. This is the problem, The reason behind, the pilotage on the Amazon River is a private business. There is two companies which are operating the pilots, all right? We are always, in our philosophy, the bridge team, it's the pilot, master, duty officer, everybody who is on the bridge. This is the bridge team, okay? Can you imagine that on the Amazon River, if the master will ask the pilot to show him his screen from the tablet with the charts, can you imagine that he is closing down the screen? He is not allowed to show to the captain the planned route. He is not allowed to tell to the captain the proper route from Fazendinha outside. I have a recorded conversation with the pilot who said, if you will pay for it, I can share it with you. So this is interpretation of the safety of the navigation by the locals in Brazil, on the Amazon River, one of the biggest river in the world, which exporting daily million tons of grains. This is reality today, unfortunately. But what they change, and I like it, since May, they have brought us, the messages on Navtex, Navarea, that the boys are missing. First time. That's all from my side. Thank you very much for your attention. Some questions? Please. Feel free. Good time. 10 minutes before. Yes, sir.
No question, but just what I found to be interesting is that from the first presentation, there was some kind of consensus that we still need eyes looking out of the window for sure.
Yes.
Sense is so important and stuff like that. And from my opinion, let's say from your presentation, I would say we definitely need more mechanisms to prevent human failure.
No doubt.
And one of these mechanisms, or it's not always about autonomous shipping or something,
no.
But also like you implemented an alerting system which just enhances awareness and maybe prevents at least one or the other to better overthink their
from my perspective, the reason, for example, we are not doing the remote navigational audits, we are not also doing the VDR audits. In my opinion, sorry to say, but they are useless. In order to assess the breach team, you have to look on the face of the guy. You have to look into his eyes, to talk to him, to understand his background. And during the conversation, you will establish better connections. And for example, what I'm doing, because audit is divided into a few parts, all right? There's a few sessions that all the officers are together, but I'm not trying, to, let's say, take part of their resting time, all right? So I am just sitting together with them during their watch. But the ECDIS training, it's always all together. When we are playing with the ECDIS, okay? Then we can discuss the things, because I see, for me, the biggest problem is that they've fallen in love in ECDIS, but in the wrong way. If you see one target from the AIS with 3 different vectors, it means that they don't understand the purpose of this machine. This should be a chart, but because, unfortunately, I have to admit, the manufacturers of the ECDISes, they added so many useless gadgets, and the people on board, they are using it for no reason, I'm always telling to Captain, did you plotted the speed vector on the paper chart? No, so why you are doing now this on ECDIS? It's not necessary, and keep in mind that somebody can manipulate the AIS data. So actually your vector is completely wrong. And if you will add on the top 2 extra alerts and 2 extra vectors from both ARPAs, but there will be different setup, you will have from one target 3 completely different vectors. So how you can properly assess the situation? It's simply impossible. First of all, because the maker of the ECDIS gave you such opportunity, and this is wrong. The second one, you have to change your approach to ECDIS. And you can change, you cannot do it online. You can do it only during the practical navigational audits when somebody can explain to the people how to use it in the proper way. On few vessels we have installed also CCTV system, all right? And we are now also installing on the other vessels. The reason was only because of the security, nothing else. But on one vessel which I have audited, because there was one camera on the bridge. So I said to myself, okay, maybe this is not the best idea, but let's check the record. Because you can review the last 30 days, all right? And believe me, I was shocked. I never thought that the chief mate is making coffee 104 times during his watch. It's amazing how you can see how the people are, what they are doing at night on the bridge.
Sure, but I think still what I wanted to say is that it's not only about providing the seafarer with all the information that he needs to make decisions, but we need to make one further step and introduce mechanisms.
We have to support them.
This is wrong decision making.
We have to support them, but we have to control the process. And we have to support the tools, the way how they are using the tools. This is our job. This is my opinion. Yeah. So.
Yes, that is also what you told before, is that you have to look into the phase when you make a navigation on Audi. And
Yes.
we found out that it is the best way to make a dynamic Audi.
Yes, always.
From port to port.
Yes.
Only sitting in the corner and looking.
You know,
And
since we have
that is the best way.
since we have few minutes, you know, I can share with you one also story. I was auditing one vessel, which is she was trading between Tunis and Barcelona. And in Barcelona, it was a small container vessel. In Barcelona, you know, our terminal was just behind the corner. It was at night. A small vessel, so actually the helmsman was the chief mate, right? The captain was on the bridge wing together with the pilot, but the captain did not trust the console, so everything was done from the bridge. So the chief mate was the one who was operating the main engine and doing the steering. And unfortunately, because was no other way, actually, the one ECDIS was installed on the one side of the bridge wing, of the bridge, and the second one on another. So the chief mate actually was continuously running from one side to another to cancel alarms on the bridge, and in meantime, he was doing steering and maneuvering, you know. And after 5 minutes, I was close to heart attack, you know. I said, Chief, focus on the hell, you know, I will set up the ECDIS, all right? Believe me, 5 minutes later, the captain was shouting from the bridge wing, Chief, what happened? Do we have a blackout? Because it was silence, you know, and he was shocked that there's no any sound of the alerts from the bridge. I said, Cap, no worry, your ECDIS is now getting better. Can you imagine? The captain was shouting what's happened because he was sure that something is wrong with the ECDIS.
Yes, but that is what we found out. The most experienced officer in the ECDIS is second officer.
Yeah.
Yes, and the others, yes, they follow also this alarm settings and so on.
That's why I am
change
spending most of the time, you know, with the ECDIS, not with the second officer. I'm spending most of the time with the captain, third officer, and the chief mate. And believe me, 99%, especially of the chief mates, they have no clue about the ECDIS.
Yes.
No clue, really. They don't know. Okay. Once again, thank you very much.